It was the morning of June 13, 1994, when Los Angeles police received a call that would shake not just Hollywood, but the entire world. At 875 South Bundy Drive, in the upscale neighborhood of Brentwood, two brutally murdered bodies lay in the small courtyard of a condominium. One was Nicole Brown Simpson, the ex-wife of NFL legend O.J. Simpson, and the other was Ronald Goldman, a young waiter and friend of Nicole's. Both victims had been stabbed multiple times, the scene soaked in blood, and nearby footprints led away into the darkness. It was a crime scene that would soon become one of the most dissected and controversial in American history. At first, the police didn't know what to make of it. Nicole had been in a turbulent relationship with O.J., marked by years of domestic abuse allegations and public disputes. The neighbors had heard screams that night, dogs barking endlessly, and some even reported seeing a white Ford Bronco speeding away. When detectives found a bloody glove at the crime scene, they noticed something odd. It matched another glove found later behind O.J. Simpson's home on Rockingham Avenue. This small but significant clue would ignite a firestorm that changed how America viewed celebrity, race, and justice forever. When detectives tried to contact O.J., he was uncooperative at first. The next day, he agreed to turn himself in, but when police arrived, Simpson had disappeared. Then came one of the most unforgettable moments in television history. Over 95 million Americans tuned in to watch as O.J. Simpson, sitting in the back of his white Ford Bronco, led police on a slow-speed chase down the highways of Los Angeles. His best friend, Al Cowlings, drove the car while O.J. sat in the back seat, holding a gun to his own head. For over 2 hours, the chase unfolded live on every major TV network, interrupting sports broadcasts and even the NBA Finals. When it finally ended, O.J. was arrested outside his mansion, and what followed would be called the trial of the century. The case against Simpson seemed overwhelming. Blood evidence matched his DNA, the gloves linked him to the crime, and the motive was clear: jealousy, rage, and a history of violence toward Nicole. Prosecutors Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden were confident they had enough to convict. But O.J. had one thing few defendants ever had: fame, money, and a defense team like no other. His dream team, as the media called them, included some of the most powerful lawyers in America: Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, and the charismatic Johnny Cochran. Their strategy wasn't just to question the evidence, it was to challenge the entire system. As the trial began in January 1995, the world was transfixed. News channels aired every moment. Cameras captured O.J. sitting at the defense table, expressionless, as witnesses described the horror of the murders. Prosecutors played 911 calls of Nicole screaming for help years before her death. The public saw pictures of O.J.'s bloody shoes, his fingerprints, and the infamous glove, but when Simpson tried the glove on in court, it appeared too small. The image of him struggling to fit his hand into the glove became one of the most iconic and damaging moments for the prosecution. Cochran seized the moment, delivering the unforgettable line, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." The defense turned the case on its head, painting the Los Angeles Police Department as corrupt and racially biased. Detective Mark Furman, who discovered one of the gloves, became the defense's main target. They accused him of planting evidence to frame O.J., and when tapes later surfaced of Furman using racial slurs, the prosecution's credibility collapsed. For many, the case was no longer about murder, it became a reflection of race relations in America. Some saw O.J. as a symbol of racial injustice, while others saw him as a murderer exploiting it. If you're enjoying our case stories and want to hear more real-life trials that shocked the world, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Court Logs. It really helps us keep bringing you more true crime investigations like this one. Back in court, the trial continued to twist and turn. DNA evidence placed Simpson at the crime scene, but the defense argued contamination and mishandling by police. They showed photos of evidence bags left open, samples allegedly mixed, and inconsistencies in reports. Meanwhile, the public turned the trial into entertainment. Late-night shows mocked it, tabloids printed wild theories, and Americans debated guilt and innocence at dinner tables. For the first time, a criminal case became a form of mass entertainment. On October 3, 1995, after 8 months of testimony, the jury returned with their verdict. It took them less than 4 hours to decide. As millions watched live, O.J. Simpson stood to hear the words, "Not guilty." Gasps filled the courtroom. Outside, cheers erupted in some neighborhoods while others reacted with disbelief and anger. It was one of the most divisive moments in modern American history. Many African Americans saw it as justice, a black man finally beating a racist system. Many white Americans saw it as a failure of justice, a celebrity getting away with murder. But the story didn't end there. Just months later, the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman filed a civil lawsuit against Simpson. In 1997, a California civil court found O.J. liable for their wrongful deaths and ordered him to pay $33.5 million in damages. Though he was acquitted criminally, this verdict confirmed what many still believed, that he had committed the murders. But by then, O.J. was financially broken, his reputation destroyed, and his once glamorous life shattered. The years after the trial saw O.J. bounce from controversy to controversy. He wrote a book titled, "If I Did It," a fictionalized account of how the murders might have happened, which sparked massive outrage. Later, in 2007, he was arrested again in Las Vegas for armed robbery and kidnapping, after attempting to steal sports memorabilia he claimed was his own. This time, there was no dream team, no national sympathy, and no celebrity power to protect him. In 2008, O.J. Simpson was sentenced to 33 years in prison, though he was paroled in 2017 after serving 9. Even after his release, O.J. lived under a shadow that never left him. To this day, his guilt or innocence remains one of America's greatest debates. Some argue the evidence was undeniable, while others believe the LAPD's corruption and mishandling made a fair verdict impossible. What no one denies is that the trial changed everything, from how media covered crime to how Americans viewed race, celebrity, and the law itself. The O.J. Simpson case wasn't just a courtroom battle, it was a reflection of an entire country's divisions, prejudices, and fascination with fame. A story where truth and spectacle collided, leaving behind a legacy that still echoes through every major trial that followed. It showed how a murder case could become a mirror for society's deepest conflicts, and how, sometimes, justice can look very different depending on where you stand. We've covered more real-life trials and shocking true stories like this one on our channel. You'll see them linked at the end of this video. Make sure to check them out to explore more cases that changed history forever.